The Big Boom. The sun was bright on colony planet X9. Little Sarah, a girl with curly brown hair and big blue eyes, ran across the green grass. Her robot dog, Sparky, beeped happily as it chased her. "Come on, Sparky," Sarah called. She was only 8 years old, but she was the bravest kid in her village. The sky was clear and blue. Birds sang in the trees. It was a normal day on X9. People worked in their gardens. Kids played in the streets. No one knew that everything was about to change. Sarah stopped running. She bent down to pick a pretty purple flower. Sparky waited, wagging its metal tail. Then the robot dog's ears turned. It made a strange noise. "What's wrong, boy?" Sarah asked. She looked up. High in the sky, something big and dark appeared. It wasn't a cloud. It wasn't a bird. It was huge and shaped like an upside-down bowl. "Wow," Sarah whispered. She had never seen anything like it before. More people noticed the thing in the sky. They came out of their houses, pointing up. Some looked excited. Others looked scared. The big shape got closer. Now everyone could see it clearly. It was a spaceship, but not a human spaceship. This one was different. It was alien. Sarah's mom ran out of their house. "Sarah, come inside now," she shouted. But Sarah didn't move. She was too amazed by the alien ship. It was beautiful and scary at the same time. Suddenly, a bright light shot out from the ship. It hit a nearby house. Boom! The house exploded into pieces. People started screaming. More light beams came from the ship. More explosions. Trees fell. Cars blew up. The ground shook. "Sarah!" Her mom yelled again. She ran towards her daughter. Sarah finally understood the danger. She turned to run home. But then she remembered Sparky. The robot dog was frozen in fear. "Come on, Sparky," Sarah called. She ran back to get her pet. That's when it happened. A beam of light came straight for Sarah. Her mom screamed. Sparky beeped loudly, but it was too late. In a flash, Sarah was gone. Where she had been standing, there was only a black mark on the ground. Sarah's mom fell to her knees, crying. All around her, the alien attack continued. Houses burned. People ran. The beautiful day had turned into a nightmare. High above, more alien ships appeared. They were everywhere, shooting their deadly beams. The colony had no defenses. They weren't ready for a war. In just 1 hour, half the colony was destroyed. The aliens didn't talk. They didn't ask for anything. They just attacked. A few people managed to escape in small spaceships. They flew away as fast as they could. They had to tell Earth what happened. As night fell on X9, the alien ships finally left. They disappeared into the dark sky. But the damage was done. Where there had been a happy colony, now there was only ruin, broken buildings, burned trees, and many, many lost lives. One of the survivors found Sparky. The robot dog was damaged, but still working. Its memory banks held the last images of Sarah, the happy little girl who loved to play, the brave child who tried to save her pet. The man who found Sparky knew what he had to do. He had to get the robot to Earth. People needed to see what happened. They needed to know about Sarah and all the others who were lost. As he flew away in his small ship, the man looked back at X9. The planet that had been his home was now a graveyard. He made a promise to himself and to Sarah's memory. "We'll make them pay," he whispered. "Humanity will not forget this day." Little did he know, his words would soon become a battle cry, a reason for humans across the galaxy to unite. The aliens thought they had won an easy victory, but they had no idea what they had started. The attack on X9 was not the end. It was just the beginning. The day the aliens destroyed a little girl named Sarah was the day they sealed their own fate. Because now, humanity had a reason to fight, and fight they would with everything they had. Part 2. Earth Gets Mad. The small spaceship zoomed through space. Inside, the man from X9 held Sparky tight. The robot dog's lights blinked weakly. It still held the last images of Sarah. After 3 long days, Earth finally came into view. The man sighed with relief. He had made it. Now he had to tell everyone what happened. As soon as the ship landed, people crowded around. They had never seen a robot like Sparky before, but when they saw the man's face, they knew something was wrong. "What happened?" someone asked. The man took a deep breath. "Aliens attacked X9, he said. They destroyed everything. So many people, gone." Gasps filled the air. People started talking all at once. Phones came out. Within minutes, the news was spreading across Earth. In New York, a big TV in Times Square showed the first pictures from X9. People stopped walking. They stared at the screen in shock. In Tokyo, students gathered around computers, watching videos of the attack. Many of them cried when they saw Sarah disappear. In Lagos, radio stations played the man's story over and over. People in cars honked their horns in anger. All over Earth, the reaction was the same: shock, sadness, and then anger. World leaders called emergency meetings. In Washington, D.C., the president stood in front of reporters. Her face was serious. "Today we learned of a terrible attack," she said. "Innocent people on X9 were killed by alien forces. This cannot stand. We must respond." In London, the Prime Minister spoke to a crowded parliament. "For years, we thought we were alone in the universe," he said. "Now we know the truth. And it's time to defend ourselves." People took to the streets. They carried signs that said, "Remember X9 and justice for Sarah." The little girl had become a symbol. Her story touched hearts all over the world. In a military base in Russia, generals looked at star maps. They tried to figure out where the aliens came from, but Earth's space technology was still new. They didn't know much about the galaxy. Scientists worked day and night. They studied the videos from X9, trying to understand the alien weapons, but the tech was so advanced, it seemed like magic. In China, factories started working overtime. They built new spaceships and weapons, but everyone knew it wasn't enough. Earth wasn't ready for a space war. As the days passed, fear mixed with the anger. What if the aliens attacked Earth next? How could they stop them? That's when Admiral Johnson spoke up. He was old, with white hair and a wrinkled face. Most people had forgotten about him, but now he had something important to say. The Admiral walked slowly to the front of the United Nations. Every country in the world was watching. He cleared his throat and began to speak. "Many years ago," he said, "Earth faced a different threat. We thought aliens might attack us. So we built a fleet. A big fleet, with the best weapons we could make." People looked confused. No one had heard about this fleet. "But the aliens never came," the Admiral continued. "So we hid the ships. We put them to sleep, deep under the ice in Antarctica. And we forgot about them." The room was silent. Everyone held their breath. "Those ships are still there," Admiral Johnson said, "waiting. And now, we need them." For a moment, no one spoke. Then the room exploded with noise. People shouted questions. How big was the fleet? Would it work after all this time? Was it enough to fight the aliens? The Admiral raised his hands for quiet. "I don't know if it will be enough," he said. "But it's a start. It's hope." Within hours, a team was on its way to Antarctica. Scientists, soldiers, and engineers flew to the secret base. They had to wake up the sleeping fleet. All over Earth, people waited for news. They lit candles for Sarah and the others lost on X9. They trained to fight. They built new weapons. For the first time in history, all of humanity was united. They had one goal: to defend Earth and make the aliens pay. As night fell, Admiral Johnson looked up at the stars. Somewhere out there, the aliens were waiting. They thought they had won an easy victory, but they didn't know about Earth's secret weapon. "Get ready," the Admiral whispered to the sky. "Humanity is coming for you." The old man didn't know if they would win, but he knew one thing for sure. Earth wouldn't go down without a fight. The aliens had started this war, but humanity was going to finish it. Waking up old ships. The wind howled across the icy plains of Antarctica. Snow whipped through the air, stinging the faces of the team as they trudged forward. Leading the group was Dr. Emily Chen, a brilliant scientist with determination in her eyes. "It should be right here," she shouted over the wind, pointing at a spot that looked like any other on the vast white landscape. Suddenly, the ground beneath them rumbled. A large section of ice began to move, revealing the hidden entrance. The team gasped in amazement. "Well, I'll be," muttered Colonel Harris, his bushy eyebrows raised in surprise. The old man was right. They entered the secret base, their flashlights cutting through years of darkness. As they walked deeper, huge shapes loomed in the shadows. Ships, hundreds of them. Dr. Chen approached a control panel, brushing off a thick layer of dust. "Let's wake them up," she said, her fingers flying over the ancient buttons. With a deep groan, the base came to life. Lights flickered on, illuminating the massive hangar. The ships were revealed in all their glory, sleek, powerful, and unlike anything they had seen before. "Hello," said a voice, making everyone jump. It came from a hologram of a woman, flickering to life near them. "I am ARIA, the artificial intelligence running intelligence asset. How may I assist you?" Dr. Chen stepped forward. "ARIA, we need to activate the fleet. Earth is in danger." ARIA's expression changed, showing concern. "Understood." Initiating wake-up protocols. All around them, the ships began to hum. Lights blinked on, systems whirred to life. It was like watching giants wake from a long slumber. "Warning," ARIA announced. "Crew revival process initiating. Please stand back." In the biggest ship, a massive dreadnought called the Avenger, pods began to open. Men and women in old-style uniforms stumbled out, looking confused. Where are we?" asked one man, his voice croaky from years of disuse. Colonel Harris stepped forward. "Captain, I'm Colonel Harris of the current Earth Defense Force. We've woken you because we need your help. Earth is under attack." The captain straightened up, years of training kicking in despite his disorientation. "Under attack? By whom?" As the colonel explained the situation, more of the old crew woke up. Engineers checked the ships, pilots ran system diagnostics. Despite being asleep for decades, they fell back into their roles quickly. Dr. Chen worked with ARIA, updating the EYE's databases with current information. "The alien tech is far beyond ours," she explained. "We need to upgrade these ships fast." ARIA's hologram nodded. "I understand. I will begin formulating upgrade plans immediately." Meanwhile, in the medical bay, doctors were checking the health of the revived crew. Surprisingly, the long sleep hadn't harmed them. If anything, they looked younger than their actual age. "It's like they haven't aged a day," one doctor marveled. Back in the main hangar, Captain Sura Rodriguez of the Avenger was getting a crash course in current events. Her eyes widened as she watched footage from the attack on X9. "Those bastards," she muttered. "They'll pay for this." As the day progressed, more systems came online. The hangar doors, frozen shut for years, slowly creaked open. For the first time in decades, the ships saw daylight. But there was still much work to be done. The weapons systems were outdated. The engines, while powerful, weren't designed for the kind of space travel they'd need to do. "We need to combine our old tech with the new," Dr. Chen said. "It's the only way we'll have a chance." Teams of old and new engineers worked side by side, merging past and present technology. Sparks flew as they welded and wired, turning the old ships into something new and powerful. Aria's hologram appeared on every ship, guiding the upgrades. Her data banks held secrets that had been forgotten by time, now put to use to defend Earth. As night fell, the first ship was ready for a test flight. The Avenger's engines roared to life, shaking the ice around the base. Slowly, it rose into the air. Captain Rodriguez sat in the command chair, her hands running over the familiar controls. "Let's see what this old girl can do," she said with a grin. The Avenger shot into the sky, breaking through clouds and soaring towards the stars. For a moment, everyone on the ground held their breath. Then Rodriguez's voice crackled over the radio. "She flies like a dream, folks. The Avenger is back in action." Cheers erupted in the base. It was a small victory, but an important one. They had taken the first step towards fighting back. As the Avenger landed, Dr. Chen looked up at the night sky. Somewhere out there, the aliens were waiting. But now, Earth had a secret weapon of its own. "Get ready," she whispered. "We're coming for you." The old ships were awake, their crews ready for action. The real work was just beginning, but for the first time since the attack, there was hope. Humanity had a fighting chance, and they were going to make the most of it. Getting ready to fight. The news spread like wildfire. Earth had a secret fleet, and now everyone wanted to help. People from all over the world came to Antarctica. Scientists, engineers, pilots, they all wanted to be part of the fight. At the base, things were busy. Captain Rodriguez stood in front of a big screen, looking at star maps. "We need to know where they'll attack next," she said. Dr. Chen nodded. She was working with ARIA to upgrade the ship's sensors. "If we can predict their moves, we'll have an advantage." Outside, the ice was melting. Huge ships rose from the ground, one by one. The sight was amazing. People stopped to watch, their mouths open in awe. "I never thought I'd see anything like this," said Jake, a young pilot from Australia. He had come to join the fleet, leaving everything behind. Training began right away. Old pilots taught new ones how to fly the ships. It wasn't easy. The controls were different from modern planes. But the new pilots learned fast. They had to. In the engine rooms, engineers worked day and night. They mixed old tech with new ideas. Sparks flew as they welded and wired. "We're making these ships faster than ever," said Maria, wiping sweat from her forehead. She hadn't slept in 2 days, but she didn't care. This was too important. Aria's hologram appeared everywhere, helping where she could. "The alien ships are still more advanced," she warned. "But we have something they don't." "What's that?" asked Colonel Harris. "Human spirit," Aria replied, smiling. Meanwhile, world leaders tried to contact the aliens. They sent messages into space, asking for peace, but no answer came. "They're not interested in talking," the president said in a global broadcast. "So we must be ready to fight." All over Earth, people prepared. They built shelters and stored food. Schools taught kids what to do if aliens attacked. It was scary, but it brought people together. Back at the base, weapons testing began. The old ships had powerful guns, but they needed to be stronger. Boom! A test shot echoed across the ice. Captain Rodriguez watched as a target exploded. "Better," she said, "but not good enough. Keep working." Dr. Chen had an idea. She showed ARIA some plans. "If we use this new alloy, we can make the guns twice as strong." ARIA's eyes lit up. "Brilliant, Dr. Chen. I'll start production right away." Days turned into weeks. The fleet grew stronger. But would it be enough? One day, as the sun set, turning the ice orange, Jake found Captain Rodriguez looking worried. "What's wrong, Captain?" he asked. She sighed. "We're almost ready. But I'm scared, Jake. What if we fail?" Jake thought for a moment. Then he said, "My little sister was on X9. She didn't make it." His voice shook, but he continued. "I'm not fighting because I think we'll win. I'm fighting because we have to try." Rodriguez looked at him, then nodded. "You're right. We owe it to them to try." The next day, she called everyone together. Thousands of people stood in the snow, waiting to hear her speak. "Look around you," she said, her voice strong. "A month ago, we were strangers. Now, we're Earth's last hope. We come from different countries, speak different languages, but we're united in one goal: to defend our home." People cheered. The sound echoed off the icy cliffs. "The aliens think they're stronger than us," Rodriguez continued. "They think we're weak. But they're wrong. We have something they'll never understand. We have love for our planet, for our families, and we'll fight with everything we've got." The cheers grew louder. People hugged each other, tears in their eyes. They were ready. Suddenly, alarms blared. Aria's voice came over the speakers. "Alert! Alien ships detected entering the solar system." Everyone froze. This was it, the moment they had been preparing for. Captain Rodriguez took a deep breath. "To your stations, everyone. This is not a drill." People ran to their ships. Engines roared to life. The ground shook as the massive fleet prepared to take off. Dr. Chen looked at Aria. "Are we ready?" The AI nodded. "As ready as we'll ever be." As the first ships lifted off, shooting into the sky, Rodriguez looked at the earth below. It looked so small, so fragile, but it was home, and they would defend it. "Let's go show those aliens what humans can do," she said. The fleet soared into space, ready to meet the enemy. The fight for Earth was about to begin. First big fight. The darkness of space stretched out before them. Earth's fleet, led by the Avenger, flew in tight formation. Captain Rodriguez sat in her command chair, her heart racing. "Any sign of them, Aria?" she asked. The AI's voice came through the speakers. "Alien ships detected. They're approaching Mars." Rodriguez nodded. "All ships, battle stations. This is it." Across the fleet, pilots gripped their controls. Engineers checked systems one last time. Everyone held their breath. Then they saw them. The alien ships, huge, dark, and scary. They moved fast, heading straight for Earth's fleet. "They've spotted us," Jake said from his pilot's seat. His hands were sweating, but his voice was steady. Captain Rodriguez stood up. "Remember your training. Remember why we're here. For Earth. For Sarah. For everyone we've lost. Attack Formation Alpha." The Earth ships spread out, forming a wide V. The aliens didn't change course. They were coming in hot. "Weapons hot," Rodriguez ordered. "Fire on my mark." The distance between the fleets shrank rapidly. 1,000 miles. 500 miles. 100 miles. Fire. Bright beams shot out from Earth's ships. Some hit their targets. Explosions lit up the black sky. But the aliens fired back. Their weapons were stronger, faster. 3 Earth ships exploded in quick succession. "Evasive maneuvers," Rodriguez shouted. "Don't let them get a lock on you." The space around Mars turned into chaos. Ships zipped back and forth, firing at each other. Debris floated everywhere. On the Avenger, Dr. Chen worked furiously at her console. "Captain, I'm detecting a pattern in their attack formation. If we can disrupt it." "Do it," Rodriguez ordered. Chen sent the data to all ships. "Aim for these weak points in their formation." Earth's fleet adjusted their attack. Suddenly, they were hitting more targets. 2 big alien ships exploded. But the aliens adapted quickly. They changed their formation, confusing Earth's pilots. "We're losing too many ships," Colonel Harris reported from his vessel. "We need to fall back." Rodriguez gritted her teeth. "No, we can't let them get to Earth. Push forward." Jake's voice came over the comm. "Captain, I have an idea. It's crazy, but it might work." "I'm listening," Rodriguez said. Jake explained his plan quickly. It was risky, maybe impossible, but they were running out of options. Rodriguez thought for a moment. Then she nodded. "Do it, Jake, and good luck." Jake's ship broke from formation. He flew straight at the biggest alien vessel, dodging fire left and right. "What's he doing?" An alien commander might have asked, if we could understand them. At the last second, Jake fired his engines at full power. His ship shot up, skimming the top of the alien vessel. As he passed over, he dropped something. Boom! A massive explosion rocked the alien ship. Jake had dropped a special bomb, one that Dr. Chen had designed to interfere with alien tech. The huge ship started to drift. Its weapons went silent. Now, Rodriguez shouted, "All ships, concentrate fire on the big one." Every Earth ship fired at once. The alien vessel couldn't take it. It exploded in a blinding flash. For a moment, everything was quiet. Then cheers erupted across the Earth fleet. The remaining alien ships started to retreat. They hadn't expected such fierce resistance. "Should we follow them?" Colonel Harris asked. Rodriguez shook her head. "No, we've done enough for today. Let them run." As the alien ships disappeared into deep space, the Earth fleet regrouped. They had won, but at a cost. Many ships were damaged. Some were completely destroyed. Jake's ship limped back to the Avenger. As he climbed out, everyone cheered. He had turned the tide of the battle. "Good job, kid," Rodriguez said, patting him on the back. "You did your sister proud." Jake smiled, tears in his eyes. "Thanks, Captain. I just did what I had to do." Dr. Chen approached, looking tired but happy. "The bomb worked better than I expected. We might be able to use this technology for better defenses." Rodriguez nodded. "Get on it. They'll be back, and we need to be ready." As the fleet started the long journey home, Rodriguez looked out at the stars. They had won their first battle, but the war was far from over. "HFY," she said, "send a message to Earth. Tell them we're not beaten yet. We've given the aliens something to think about." The AI's voice sounded almost proud. "Message sent, Captain. And may I say, well done, humans." The Earth fleet flew on, battered but unbroken. They had faced the alien threat and survived. And next time, they would be even stronger. As they approached Earth, Rodriguez made a silent promise. To Sarah, to all those lost on X9, and to every person on the blue planet below. "We'll keep fighting," she whispered. "No matter what." The big change. The Earth fleet returned home as heroes. People cheered as the ships landed. But Captain Rodriguez knew the fight was far from over. "We won a battle, not the war," she told her crew. "We need to be smarter, faster, and stronger for next time." Dr. Chen nodded. "I have an idea," she said, "but it's risky." In her lab, Chen showed Rodriguez and Jake a small device. It looked like a shiny metal ball. "This," Chen explained, "can hack alien computers. If we can get it onto their main ship, we might be able to control their whole fleet." Jake's eyes widened. "But how do we get it on their ship?" Chen smiled. "That's where you come in, Jake." For the next weeks, Jake trained harder than ever. He learned to fly his ship in ways that seemed impossible. He had to be perfect for the plan to work. Meanwhile, ARIA worked day and night. She studied the data from the last battle, looking for any weakness in the alien ships. One day, ARIA's hologram appeared, looking excited. "I found something," she said. "The aliens use a special kind of energy. If we can disrupt it, their ships will be powerless." Rodriguez leaned forward. "Can we do that?" ARIA nodded. "With Dr. Chen's device, yes. But we need to get very close to their main ship." The captain turned to Jake. "Think you can do it, kid?" Jake took a deep breath. "I have to try." As they prepared, news came in. The aliens were on the move again. This time, they were heading straight for Earth. "This is it," Rodriguez told her fleet. "Everything we've worked for comes down to this. We either stop them here, or Earth falls." The Earth ships took off, ready for the biggest fight of their lives. As they left the atmosphere, they saw the alien fleet. It was massive, covering the sky like a dark cloud. "Remember the plan," Rodriguez said. "Protect Jake's ship at all costs." The battle began. Lasers lit up space. Ships exploded left and right. It was chaos. Jake flew his ship straight at the alien mothership. It was huge, bigger than anything he'd ever seen. Almost there, he muttered. Alien ships fired at him from all sides. Earth ships tried to protect him, but it was tough. Suddenly, a laser hit Jake's ship. Alarms blared. "I'm hit," he yelled. "Pull back, Jake," Rodriguez ordered. But Jake gritted his teeth. "No, I can make it." His damaged ship sped towards the alien mothership. At the last second, he released Chen's device. It stuck to the big ship's hull. "Got it," Jake shouted, but his ship was in trouble. It spun out of control, heading for the alien ship. "Jake," Rodriguez yelled, "get out of there." But it was too late. Jake's ship crashed into the alien mothership in a big explosion. For a moment, everyone was silent. Then Chen's voice came over the radio. "The device is active. It's working." Suddenly, the alien ships started to act strange. Some stopped moving. Others flew in circles. "We're in their systems," Araya announced. "We can control their fleet." Rodriguez didn't waste a second. "All ships, attack now. Don't let up." The Earth fleet attacked with everything they had. Alien ships fell one by one. They couldn't fight back. In less than an hour, it was over. The alien fleet was destroyed or captured. Earth had won. As the dust settled, Rodriguez looked at the wreckage of Jake's ship. "He saved us all," she said softly. But then, something amazing happened. A small escape pod floated out from the debris. "This is Jake," came a weak voice over the radio. "Did we win?" Cheers erupted across the fleet. Jake was alive. As they headed back to Earth, Rodriguez smiled. "We did it, Hid. We really did it." On Earth, people celebrated like never before. The alien threat was gone. Humanity had faced its biggest challenge and won. In the days that followed, scientists studied the captured alien ships. They learned so much. Earth's technology jumped forward by centuries in just a few weeks. Jake became a hero. He told everyone it wasn't just him. It was all of them, working together. Dr. Chen and ARIA worked on new inventions using alien tech. Soon, humans could travel faster than light. They could visit other stars. Captain Rodriguez stood on a hill, looking up at the stars. Earth wasn't just safe now. It was ready to explore the galaxy. "We did it, Sarah," she whispered, thinking of the little girl whose story started it all. "We showed them what humans can do." As night fell, ships took off from Earth. But this time, they weren't going to fight. They were going to explore, to learn, to make new friends. The big change had come. Humanity wasn't just a small planet anymore. Now they were part of something much bigger. And they were ready for whatever the universe had in store. What happens after? 5 years had passed since the big battle. Earth looked different now. Tall buildings with strange shapes touched the sky. Flying cars zipped between them. It was like something from an old sci-fi movie, but real. Jake walked down a busy street. People smiled and waved at him. Everyone knew who he was, the hero who helped save Earth. But Jake didn't feel like a hero. He just felt different. He stopped at a small park. In the center stood a statue. It showed a little girl playing with a robot dog. Sarah, the girl who started it all. "I wish you could see this," Jake said softly. Suddenly, his watch beeped. It was time for the big meeting. At the United Galaxy headquarters. Yes, Earth had joined a galaxy-wide group now. Captain Rodriguez stood at a podium. She looked older, but her eyes were still sharp. 5 years ago, she began, we thought we were alone and under attack. Today, we stand as part of a larger community. We've made friends across the stars. The room was filled with humans and aliens. Some looked like giant plants. Others were made of light. It was a mix that no one could have imagined before. Dr. Chen sat in the front row, Ari's hologram next to her. They had worked hard to help Earth and its new allies understand each other. But we face new challenges, Rodriguez continued. Some alien races still don't trust us. Others want to use our technology for war. We must be careful. Jake listened from the back. He thought about how much had changed. Humans now had colonies on Mars and Europa. Ships explored distant stars. It was exciting, but also scary. After the meeting, Jake met with Rodriguez and Chen. "We need your help, Jake," Rodriguez said. "We're sending a ship to make peace with the Zortax. They're the only ones still angry about the war." Jake nodded. The Zortax were tough. They didn't like to forgive. "Why me?" he asked. Chen smiled. "Because you understand loss. You can talk to them about Sarah, about what started this all." Jake thought for a moment. Then he agreed. The next day, a sleek ship took off from Earth. Jake stood on the bridge, watching his home planet shrink away. "Course set for Zortax Prime," the ship's AI said. It sounded a bit like ARIA. Jake smiled at that. The journey took 3 weeks. Jake spent the time learning about Zortax culture. They were proud and strong, but they also cared deeply about family. Finally, they arrived. Zortax Prime was a red planet with 3 moons. It looked angry, just like its people. As they landed, Jake felt nervous. But he remembered Sarah. He remembered everyone who had died. He had to try for peace. The Zortax leader was tall and scaly. He looked at Jake with 4 yellow eyes. "Why should we trust humans?" he growled. "You destroy our ships." Jake took a deep breath. Then he told them about Sarah, about X9, about how the war started because of fear and misunderstanding. "We've all lost something," Jake said, "but we can choose to build a better future together." For a long moment, the Zortax leader was quiet. Then, slowly, he nodded. "Perhaps," he said, "we can talk." It wasn't perfect, but it was a start. Back on Earth, things kept changing. New aliens visited every day. Humans learned and grew. One day, Jake visited Sarah's parents. They lived in a nice house with a view of the new Earth-Mars space elevator. "She would have loved all this," Sarah's mom said, looking at the sky. Jake nodded. "She's the reason it happened. Her story united us." As he left, Jake saw a group of kids playing. Humans, aliens, and robots all together. They were laughing, not caring about their differences. That night, there was a big celebration. Earth was officially joining the Galactic Council. It was a big deal. Fireworks lit up the sky. Ships from 100 worlds flew in formation overhead. It was beautiful. Jake stood with Rodriguez, Chen, and Aria's hologram. They watched the crowds cheer. "We did it," Rodriguez said. "We're part of something bigger now." Chen nodded. "And we've only just begun. Imagine what we'll discover next." Aria's hologram smiled. "The possibilities are infinite." Jake looked up at the stars. Somewhere out there, new adventures waited, new friends to make, new challenges to face. But Earth was ready. They had learned from their past. They had grown stronger, and they would face the future together. As the celebration continued, Jake thought about Sarah one last time. "Look at what you started," he whispered to the stars. "Thank you." The universe was vast and full of wonders. And now, Earth was ready to explore it all. Not as conquerors, but as friends. The future was bright, and it was just beginning.